guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we will be talking about this.
So, my eyes are correct.
If you're Malaysian, I know that look. I think a lot of Malays know this book, probably memorized it by heart. So today we will be talking about Andai itu takdirnya, if it's meant to be, or if it's fated, something like that, by Siti Rosmizah. This book is testament. You can be smart, you can be independent, you can be a career woman, you can be a go-getter, but when it comes to a man, your IQ is gonna drop to a single digit. I hate everything about it. So this book, if you can't tell from the look of it, it's a very old book. I have this book when I was in secondary school, and this was really famous in my childhood. You have no idea, especially amongst the Malay novel readers community. This was one of those books that if you call yourself a Malay novel reader but you haven't read this book, then you haven't read it all. When I was reading this as a teenager, I remembered thinking this book was a masterpiece. I remembered it was the best book ever. Reading it now, I just feel like should I judge people for liking this just because I also like some messed up things, and I'm like, yes!
It's Brittany, bitch.
For those who are outside of Malaysia, or you just don't read Malay novels, mainstream Malay novels, I know I might seem abrasive and rough, but if you know what I'm gonna talk about with this book, then you know that. So Siti Rosmizah, I think I've mentioned it in one of my videos, is that she is the Queen of Tears, and I applaud her for that because that's one of her greatest strengths. She can make people feel emotional with her words. This is her debut. Because of her novel, such a huge success, she's so big that she's able to have her own publishing house and also now her own production company where she creates and films adaptations of her own book.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Which I think is actually a genius move, because that way you have much more creative control over your work. You don't have to deal with shitty producers wanting to change this, change that. Your adaptations can stay really faithful. I used to think that this book is the best book ever because it is guaranteed to make you cry. Reading this book now only makes me feel sick. For this review, I did not reread this book. I'm not gonna waste my time. I basically know what's going on. I don't memorize the whole thing. I just memorize the plot points and everything, and really it's not even necessary. If anything, the only reason that I have this book, even though I hate it now, it's because I want it as a reminder that, hey, you can write the most messed up shit and still get published and get a lot of money too. So if you, however, for any reason decides to venture in this book, I would like to warn you, this book does not give you a trigger warning. Does it? No trigger warning is given to you on SA, DA, both physically and emotionally. I hate everyone. I hate everything about this book now. Why all of a sudden I decided to make this video? It's because I just discovered the adaptation for this novel has just been released. And as of me recording this video, episode 3 just came out. I really have no idea. The adaptation has been in production purgatory for years. And I thought maybe the project is just dead. Even though I feel like it doesn't make any sense because this was literally her most iconic novel. This was the one that started it all. People have been waiting for this. She has been adapting her newer novels on screen. So why isn't this come out anytime soon? And I'm oh, it's finally out. The casting seems really great, and I actually saw the first 15 minutes of the show, and it has been well acted. I mean, I expect no less from Hana Delisha and Shukri Yahya and the rest of the cast. They all seem pretty solid. But as for me actually watching the full thing, no thank you. I'm not about to watch or see or listen to any comments saying like, I can't wait for the happy ending, when this is one of those dramas that does not deserve a happy ending. This book has like all the trademark cliche in a Malay novel. You got the meek woman, arrogant rich man, bitchy other women, and the evil in-laws. So before I go on, I would like to give you a warning that I will be spoiling the story from beginning to end. There's no nugget of wisdom that you can learn from this book. The only nugget of wisdom that you can learn, or what this story considers as wisdom, is that you have to forgive a man that harms you multiple times so you can achieve happiness. Because a Malay woman can only be happy if they're married or pregnant, and even better, both. It is funny how this drama is released in Women History Month and close to International Women's Day. Am I supposed to take Leia as an iconic female character in Malay literature? Because she's not. You know, the values that was portrayed in this book age like room temperature milk. So apparently, according to Malay novel standards, I am a miserable person. If what this novel described as happiness for Malay women, then I don't want it. I'd be satisfyingly miserable throughout the rest of my life, don't worry. So this is a story about Alea, who is a recently graduated village girl trapped into a marriage with Azrael, an arrogant rich boy who also happens to be her crush, if I'm not mistaken. They both were ex-uni mates during their studies in the UK. It's always the UK, you know. Azrael is convinced that Leia did this on purpose, that Leia is like trapped him in this marriage because like the cliche rich people in Malay dramas assumes that all poor people wants to marry in their family.
Ladies, may we get a word?
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
Because of that, he treats her like shit. He refused to divorce her because he wants to torture her physically and emotionally and mentally. She is forced to stay married to him for some reason because she can just leave. She really can leave. Like, the only thing that would be plausible is if he literally trapped her in this house, locked her in a room, and like not giving her any means to escape. But no, she is forced, obligated to stay because wife, husband, married. They forget that those kind of logic does not apply to shitty husbands, so whatever. If things can't get any worse for her, yeah, it did. Because he ended up rewarding her. She was discarded like a used tissue by the roadside. So she gets pregnant. Shocker. If things can't get any shittier for Leia, Azrael actually beats her in front of his house while she is heavily pregnant. Like the novel literally describes it as him bashing her head against the concrete wall. And you must be wondering, oh, that is so shit. There's no way that they're gonna get together in the end. You are absolutely wrong. This is a Malay novel. There is no way these two are not gonna end up together in the end. Because of the incident, Leia had induced labor. She gives birth to two twins, and with one of them is a bit sick. And after a while, Azrael was going to marry to his cousin. Yeah. However, during the moment when he's about to get married, he suddenly experienced remorse and he's like, I want to see Leia, I want to see my kids and everything. But he got into an accident.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
He woke up just in time to witness her son died. So Azrael basically begs for Leia to like come back to him, and she's like, no. But spoiler alert, she comes back to him.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Because she discovered that she has brain tumor. So she's like, I have a kid, I don't know who's gonna raise my kid. So she chose to come back to the abusive husband. Great. Very smart, Leia. Very, very, very smart. She comes back to him, he wins her over, she relents, he treats her like shit again, and then her illness gets worse, and then, you know, he's gonna marry the cousin again, and then he's like, no, I'm not gonna marry the cousin because I'm still in love with my wife and I'm sorry. Discovers about Leia's tumor, finds Leia, discovers that Leia is also pregnant, and while, you know, like they have to conduct emergency surgery or whatnot. a good news, Leia survives along with the baby and stuff. Leia wakes up traumatized, and then her friend is like, Leia, she can't divorce you because you're pregnant and everything. And so they live separately for a few months, only to come back again because she misses her daughter. She comes back to him, but not because of him, but because of like, I want to be with my daughter for like till the end of Ramadan. I just realized that this drama is going to air throughout Ramadan by the end of this month. And the novel's big climax and reconciliation is during Eid in the book. They're really gonna match Eid and this drama. I mean, honestly, this feels like blasphemy, really. Sure, the lesson of Eid is forgiveness, and I support that because forgiveness is good for your own inner peace. What I don't support is getting back with your abusive husband. He tries to win her over, he's successful, happy ending. I don't know if you've noticed this, but they really don't deserve to be together. But you know what? After I think about it again, he's evil, Leia's stupid. They kind of deserve each other. If anything, good for them. At the very least, when they're together, they will stop bothering other people. At some point, you stop feeling sorry for Leia because you feel like she brought this upon herself. Did I mention that I hate this book? Everyone sucks. The only people that don't suck, Leia's friends, Umairah, what's her name? And then Sid Azriel's friend who ended up marrying Leia's friend. Leia in the novel has a lot of qualities that is similar to her other novel protagonist. She's perfect, she's smart, she's beautiful, she's independent, she's religious. She is described as those qualities, but is she actually those qualities? No. She's not. She might be religious, beautiful, independent, but she is infinitely stupid. Did I mention that I hate this book? I hate her justification for going back to Israel, saying like, oh, because I wanted my child to have a father. Your child is better off fatherless than with a father like that. She also have other people in her life that are more than willing to take care of her daughter. She has her best friend who would give the world to her.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
She has her parents. I forgot to tell you this, but her parents actually disowned her because they believed, that she trapped him into this marriage, so they disowned her. But she's still in contact with her younger brother. Pretty sure even if they disown you, they wouldn't disown your child. Also, the family. What kind of a family that trusts a stranger than their own daughter? If that's family to you, and if that's the extent of their love, I don't want it. Just one word from a total stranger would immediately turn you against me. No thank you. Did I mention that I hate this book? Say Israel, I have no words. Oh, actually, I do have a lot of words.
Oh, you're nasty. You're a little nasty. Nasty.
Wake up, you nasty!
Nasty. You're nasty. Little nasty. Little nasty. You're nasty. Little gremlin.
He's a piece of shit that deserves to rot. Marital R-word. And that happened not even because of he is having a heated moment of anger. It was premeditated. He drugged her and he took advantage of her. Here's my personal opinion. Literally the only thing that separates you from the R-wordist out there is the papers. If you're a stranger, straight to jail you go. I'm not gonna let my husband do this to me. For me, that incident is proof that you are capable of predatory behavior and that you see me as your halal certified victim. And I'm not gonna take the risk of it not happening again. And I'm sorry, I cannot ever look at that kind of person the same way ever again. So the adaptation is 60 episodes. Apparently, as it turns out, it's not just this novel, but it also has the sequel as well. Yes, because this novel actually has a sequel. And I was like, why? Siti Rosmizah doesn't know how to write a sequel. She doesn't know how to expand plots. She doesn't know how to expand on themes. She just knows how to repeat formula. And I was right. Because when I saw the comments on the reviews on Goodreads for the sequel, it's clear people don't like it very much. Even the fan of the first one are saying yeah, she's just repeating the same formula over and over again. And some even actually pointed out that she straight up copy and paste some lines from the first novel to the sequel. At first I was tempted. I was really tempted to read the second book. And then I realized that there's no way she have the guts to actually give a good, proper well-written ending to Leia's character, which is a divorce from Said Azrael, because I read the synopsis for the second book, and it's clear that Said Azrael is still a piece of shit.
Where's the flavor in this? I don't taste anything.
As for this book, I actually feel validated now because I actually saw reviews on Goodreads that reflects my current feelings. So I'm gonna read this to you. I have decided to DNF this book after contemplating to continue reading or else. A book with crazy, womanizer, chauvinistic, sexist male lead with addition of so-called innocent or naive female lead can never be a good plot. I repeat, never. I did not feel sad in any parts, and I believe the writing is the only savior that made this book come this far. Overall, I only see an urban woman who's studying overseas and still being vacuous and thick-skulled. Thank you. I read this during my teenage years, and I can't still remember how I got badly affected by it. I still feel the same. But this time, I was able to see this from a different point of view. I know it's unfair to judge a book that was published 15 years ago, but I couldn't help to feel quite disturbed by it. No, you're not wrong. Egoistic, stubborn MMC, namby-pamby FMC, and a whole lot of irritating side characters all bundled up in a repetitive conflict. Red flag. I admit that the writing style has the ability to entice reader to continue reading. It also made me cry. But then again, the author works in a legal world and had the audacity to come up with such a plot? Make that make sense. Siti Rosmizah was a lawyer. So it makes you wonder, why would you think that taking your husband back after experiencing domestic abuse by him is a good idea? You're a lawyer. You probably see this case all the time. So it's weird for a lawyer to do this. And did I mention that I hate this book? Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this. I am not going to watch the adaptation because I don't want to go through all that again. So, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.